All right, folks, today's the day. We're getting ready to start our 2-hour drive to Cream Ridge, New Jersey to see the guys at East Coast Supercharging. We're going to have the work done to the car. It is a beautiful day in Pennsylvania that just begs to get out and drive in. Yeah, this should be fun. All right, we're gonna go snowmobiling. Okay, here we are on our way to East Coast Supercharging. Roads are just wet, not too bad. We're leaving Reading, heading south a little bit to hit the turnpike. Typically, once we go south to get to the turnpike, it's a little easier going anyway, weather-wise. So it just occurred to me that we have a unique opportunity here. So on the way, we're going to find a good spot to do a nice fourth gear pull, maybe from 70 up to whatever. And then on the way home in a week or two, when this project is done and we've almost doubled the horsepower in torque, we'll do the same fourth gear pull, put them side by side for you guys to look at. It should be interesting. Sound. It only took 50% longer than I thought to get here. Alright. Nice little collection of beds everywhere. So let's go in and see the team. Alright guys, how's it going? We are at East Coast Supercharging. We're here with one of the co-owners and the tuner, Doug Ring. Doug, how's it going? So we're at, as earlier in the video, we're dropping off the Camaro. We're going to have some serious work done to it. We're getting their Novi 2200 centrifugal supercharger, an ECS fuel system, meth injection. We're targeting 850 to the rear wheel. And so I wanted to ask Doug a couple questions. To start with, you guys kind of specialize in the LS platform. How did you end up doing that? Why is it so special? Why did you choose that?
For us, it was basically when the C5 came out, Corvette, obviously the year before the Camaro.
Sure.
It was such an aha moment for GM. The car had just changed such drastically from the C4 to the C5 that the sky was the limit, basically. Even it was a lot harder back then. We had to design everything, make things ourselves.
You're starting from scratch.
Yeah, starting from scratch. The tuning was very primitive in 2099, extremely primitive compared to what we have today. And if you figured something out, you didn't tell anyone.
Sure.
Whereas now there's forums for everything. It's a lot easier to learn. But everyone was pretty bad at it. So the cam car stalling wasn't, that was part of owning a cam car. You know, it was a little more, I will say, expected or accepted, however you want to look at it. Obviously that's changed now. You know, everything has to run just right, and the tuning capabilities, for the most part, have brought it there. The physics of cams and whatnot are what they are, but they at least are not stalling every traffic light, and things have come a long way. I always equate the computers in the cars are basically identical to the cell phone of its time. 99 car was the PCM was no different than your phone in 99. 2006 they came out with the E38. 2006 is when the smartphone came out. We're right in that era, you know. And it just so happens that for whatever reason, they really are exact.
So before that, all the ECMs were flip phones.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And you know, once you went back pre-97, they were a flip phone that couldn't text.
Sure. Okay.
It's exactly
and there
how
you have it.
Yeah, it's exactly how it all works out. Very, very primitive, but they just seem to follow almost hand in hand. far as how processor speeds and that sort of thing. So, but the LS came about when I was working on LS. I was installing for a couple of online stores at a shop that I had. Chris came in and said, "Well, I'd like to work on." This was again before the Camaro was out, but I want to work on only Corvettes. So you don't want to come out. So okay, well, and he goes, "Well, but I only want to work on C5 Corvettes." So I said, "Let me get this straight. You want to just do C5s, and now they're only out for 2 years at that time.
That's a pretty small niche.
A pretty small niche. I didn't think that there would be enough business for one car to warrant business for only 2 years. It seems almost unheard of. But we just decided, well, I have my 6 figures worth of tools. You come in with 6 figures worth of equipment as well. If it doesn't work out, we take our stuff and move on. Very, very basic. It was no more than 4 to 6 weeks, and there was 25 C5s in the parking lot, and it's never really slowed down since.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very amazing.
So you guys stepped in it.
Right place at the right time. We knew the market. We knew the people. Chris had a C5. I had a Corvette also. So we were able to experiment the tuning and everything on our own vehicles.
Okay.
So we knew, we learned on our own stuff. We always pushed our stuff the farthest, so we knew what it could take.
What the critical limits were.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Back in probably around 2000 or so, we were the first company to break 500 ruble horsepower with a supercharged, otherwise stock car. And it was 25 pages of no way, can't be, fake, whatever. Now, if you don't make 500, what's wrong with the car?
What's wrong with the car?
What's going on? So it's just funny how times have changed, But
yeah, I mean, so I'm rolling in the parking lot at about 475 rear wheel, and that's naturally aspirated. Now it's got the East Coast Supercharging big blower cam and your tune in it. But yeah, so times have changed for sure.
Yeah, what's and just the power that we're able to make. For instance, we've just ordered a new dyno that can handle up to 3,000 horsepower, because the one that we have now goes up to about 1,100 ruble horsepower, and I have 4 cars here right now that I can't put on it. So I'm going to miss that dyno. I like that dyno, but it just can't handle enough power, and it's so common now to make that power.
You've outgrown your dyno.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
So, yeah, I mean, we always figured, because we had cars years back that were making that power, but we would just get it close on the dyno, get in the ballpark, and then track tune it from there. But now it's just so common to make that I can't bring every car to the drag strip. It's just a liability.
Of course.
So then you also have to have the tire and all the safety equipment if we're going fast enough or whatever the situation may be. So it's not feasible to do as many cars as we were back then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so looking forward to that coming.
What's the timeline on that?
They take 2 to 3 months to make, and we just ordered it.
Okay.
About 3 weeks ago.
So you'd be good to go for summer.
Yeah.
All right.
So Paxton's got some new head units coming out. That's going to fill the void from the 2200 to where a lot of guys are running the ProCharger F1X.
Yep.
And it's going to fit that F1X crowd.
Okay.
So 1,500 ruble horsepower to 1,800 ruble horsepower, and that's you're going to from the 1,000 to 1,800 window is where these particular blowers are going to shine. So we're going to be running that
you need
out
to be
all the
able
time.
to
We need to be able to dyno it, show the results, show what it can do, let the public know, and then back the time up in ET to match the number.
Sure. So you've talked a lot about tuning, and obviously that's what you do here. And I've heard a lot of people, and I think yourself even say it's all about the tune. Talk to me a little bit about that. What are the dangers of trying to do too much without a good tune?
It's an athlete eating donuts all day. It's not if you don't have if you're not putting the correct fuel in, if the tune is not correct, you're not going to get your money's worth out of the mods. It's just as critical as having a good components in your engine or whatever you're building, or quality heavy on your supercharger, or whatever the situation is. It can be one of the biggest losses as far as power to a build if it's tuned incorrectly. To have a cam be 20, 30 down because it's way too rich or way too lean or timing's too low, timing's too high, whatever the situation is, that can your dollar per horsepower has significantly dropped.
Well, it could also be a critical failure at some point.
Exactly.
So we're doing the Novi 2200 on my build that I'm dropping off today for, and we're targeting 850 rear wheel. What and that's on a stock bottom end LS3. What in your opinion? I know it's squishy, and I'm taking an inherent risk at pushing a stock bottom end that far. But what's too much?
We brought them as high as in the 900s. Those cars are still on the road today, fine. I think the 900 area is about where you're starting to get to the point where rods can just crumble.
Sure.
You're just past the physical limits. There are guys who have done it. How long is it going to last? Like I said, we've had I'd say maybe 3 or 4 go over 900. I couldn't even tell you how many in the 800s, dozens, and hundreds in the 700s. Hundreds of them.
Still out on the road.
Still on the road. The comeback rate, we've had some fail here and there, but the comeback rate is literally, it's like 1%. It's unbelievably low.
Wow, that's amazing.
Unbelievably low. Yeah. I almost to the point where I don't believe it. but obviously we're going to hear it first. So
sure.
Some cars may get sold or whatever, then you don't hear it, but it's just the failure rate is so unbelievably low that I think the risk is worth the reward.
Well, I mean that's a testament to GM when they started when they built the LS. They took the old small block and threw it away. They started from scratch, right? So I guess they know what they're doing. So
yeah. The earlier ones, you couldn't push as much. The LS3s, LS2s, you could really lean on pretty hard.
Okay.
We've a couple of times we had one person get bad gas and broke a ring gland, but we literally just popped the head off and put a new piston in.
Cool.
It's still on the road today.
So you just said bad gas, and that kind of presents a question. So I've read out on some forums, I've heard people talking, hey, I took my car to the track, and I usually run 93 octane. I put some 100 octane in there. It didn't run any faster. I didn't make any more power. This is bullshit. What's going on? Can you talk a little bit about running race gas on a pump gas tune? So I'm going to be tuned for 93 octane. So if I go to a roll race or a drag strip and I put 100 octane in it, I know I'm not doing it to make more power. I'm doing it for kind of insurance. Can you talk about that a little bit?
You hit it right up the head. If the car doesn't need the 100 octane and it's tuned on 93, adding 100 octane is not going to give you more power. You would have to lean on the tune harder with that 100 octane, but then if you're not running it, you're at a risk of failure. The dyno obviously puts a good load on it. It's a very good simulation, but especially road racing or anything to that effect, you can never simulate that length, that amount of abuse on any average dyno. Engine dyno may be a little longer, stuff like that, but for chassis dyno stuff, that would really overheat just about anything if you really tried to do it. So
what happens inside the engine? Say I fuel up, get a bad batch of gas. I think I'm putting 93 in there. Something wrong with it. It goes in at 88 octane for whatever reason, and I go out and I'm running wide open throttle. What happens in the engine that causes issues?
Well, basically when you're getting to detonation, instead of having an even burn through the cylinder, it's exploding. So that exploding is no different than taking a hammer to the top of the piston, and that's where.
So that's bad.
That's a bad thing. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the physics of it.
Okay.
You will go pull timing. From knock sensors will pull timing. You can often feel it if it's bad enough.
Okay.
After a while, you'll start switching. There's a low octane table, and it will blend between the two depending on the severity of the knock. So it'll just start lowering timing completely rather than seeing the knock and pulling timing. So the car will feel sluggish. We've had just not too often. The gas usually is pretty good, but we've had a couple of times. We hit the one car I was speaking before with bad gas. We drained the fuel and it was like fluorescent yellow, looked like Mountain Dew soda.
Oh.
Yeah, it was the strangest smell to it. It just filled up off the highway, nothing, and I don't know what was in that tank, but it wasn't normal gasoline.
Interesting.
So it's a rarity, but it does happen. But it's rare. That's what we have weights and measures for.
Sure,
to check octanes and all that stuff. But I'm always using the one gas station down the street from us here, and I've actually never gotten bad gas from them ever.
Okay.
And I'm watching, so
Sure.
specifically going around, and I know what combo should hold what type of timing
Right.
and that sort of thing. But
Okay.
they're at the mercy if he delivers it too, I guess.
Yeah, no, of course. So I saw something interesting in your office. You have a license plate hanging up. It said "in the 8s." What the hell is that about?
It's not much of a sleeper. I had to register it. I do drive it on the street. It's street worthy of, but with the Power Glide, my long hauls are limited.
Sure.
It's screaming on an interstate 80 miles an hour. I'd be tacking $3,000 or so
Okay.
more.
Yeah.
But I just do local car show stuff like that, and so I have to have a plate on it. If I'm gonna have a plate on it,
Sure.
it might as well be something fun.
All right. You see,
And I'm not gonna street race, so I don't care.
Well, yeah,
I can't.
we're too old for that.
Yeah,
Right?
I drive for a living. I can't.
Yeah, of course.
I'm tuning cars all day. I
So
have
you're
to,
still taking it to the strip, still taking it to roll racing.
yeah. So
You guys have anything planned that's sponsored by East Coast?
yeah, we have a busy race season coming up next year. We're looking forward to it. So we're actually working to get my car back together. Also for the testing of the new head units coming out. Was one of the main reasons. But we have a race series at ACO starting, an LS/LT based, so 97 on up vehicles. They will have a 1150, 10.0, and 850 index. Basically open rules other than safety. And there's a bracket class. So there's 6 races at ACO this year. That's all new for us. We did the Corvette Challenge in Englishtown for 12 years, but that ended a little while back, and obviously Englishtown is no more. So I went and spoke to the guys at ACO, and they were all for it. They were so easy to work with. So it's great track guys.
Beautiful. And you guys have information about that on your website?
I'll have to ask Alex on that one.
Coming soon?
Yeah, coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to get it all out and start a Facebook page for it and,
Of course,
and all
okay.
that stuff. So that'll get done in the very near future, though. And then we have our Slipstream events.
I was actually at the April Slipstream event last year at Pocono. Looking forward to getting this build complete so I can get back there. Do you think you're going to be running at any of those this year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. I'll have the car there.
Does it have a passenger seat?
It does. It does.
Any chance the 5G LS3 crew can take a ride along?
Sure.
You heard it, guys. So we're gonna bring the camera. We're gonna ride along with Doug.
We'll scare you a little bit.
Let me know I'm alive. That's I like it. Very good.
Sign the waiver and here we go.
Absolutely. Sign my life away.
Should be fun, but we'll have the cars traction controlled and pretty well set up. It's
Beautiful.
a purpose-built car, so it's not quite, for how fast it is, it's not as violent as you would expect.
Okay. Oh, sure. All right. So one thing. So when I first got my Camaro, so it's something So I met my wife, 18 years ago, and when we were still dating, I said, "Honey, one day I will go absolutely batshit crazy and spend a lot of money on a really fast, scary car. But I promise, we'll wait and we'll get, buy the house, we get the kids settled. I won't be stupid." So that took 17 years or 18 years, and now I'm going to be stupid. So I started doing research on the best way to have the car built up to what I want. And I spent about a month just reading all the forums, doing a bunch of Google searches, watching a lot of videos, and I landed on you guys. So I called and had some conversations with Chris, and I actually bought the car December of 2017, so just a year ago, and immediately had the big blower cam, cold air intake, some other things done here in your tune, because we had a conversation with Chris. Hey, eventually, I don't know if I'll be able to, but I want to go forced induction. He said, okay, so we'll make sure everything we're doing in the foundation will support that and lead to it later. So, high volume oil pumps. We did it all right. We went with the C5 timing chain. So one of the things, other than reputation, that led me here was the fact that you guys are developing a lot of your own components, hardware. Anything new coming out?
Yeah, we have with the large amount of space here, we have more room to take on some more stuff. We've been, Alex has been in control of our CAD stuff.
Okay.
So we're CADing everything in-house. We print most of our pieces first
Okay.
on a 3D printer. Make sure everything fits, make sure it works, and the technology on those have come so far. I mean, we can print a bracket with threads in it and thread a bolt in. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty neat. So we know that it's set for machining, so we're not wasting material, we're not wasting time, money. The plastic stuff is relatively inexpensive, so we'll make an entire supercharger kit out of plastic. Have it completely bolted on the car in plastic, know everything is right to the money, and then go into production from there. Years ago, we made a power glide conversion for the Corvettes.
Okay.
A rear-mounted power glide setup. We had discontinued them for probably about 5-6 years now, because we really needed to focus on getting the supercharging stuff correct. We were in too many directions.
Sure.
And we needed to kind of roll things in and set this before we moved forward. So we decided to discontinue some of our racing stuff that didn't move quite as fast. Not that common for people to put a power glide in a Corvette.
Sure.
But there is a market. A lot of racers, and the cars the C5s are getting old enough that people just buy them and make race cars out of them. So we revamped that whole system, made it a lot stronger, and the first C5 unit will be coming out probably within just a couple of weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we have a new direct drive coming out for supercharger kits. Not
Direct
pertaining to
drive hooked straight to the crank?
Yes, but like your car, we can run a separate belt.
Right.
Camaro, we have more room.
Okay.
The Corvette shares a belt with the accessories.
Sure.
Or you can isolate the accessories and have a single belt for the supercharger, and then a direct drive system, as it's called, for the accessory belts.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And we have a new setup there coming out. That's it's the go-to. It's going to be the nicest setup out there, in my opinion.
Awesome.
So that's just being finalized now. We've made it all out of plastic. We've had it.
Of course.
We're right in that step now. We're manufacturing starting. So looking forward to that. And we just have a whole list of other things that we're looking to get back into. Now that we have the room, we can do so much more.
Yeah, this new space is amazing. So maybe when we come in and pick up the finished product, maybe we can do a shop tour, meet the team. We're leaving equipment here. They're gonna be chronicling your build, my build as they do it. We'll have some dyno footage, and it should be quite interesting. Are you starting to see more people getting back into drag racing? I think I've heard, around the economic downturn, the 08, 09 downturn, it kind of fell away because it's expensive. You break stuff, right?
Hobby, yeah.
So, does that make sense to you? Did you see that?
I absolutely saw the decline in drag racing.
Okay.
And all racing, road racing,
sure.
It's all very expensive.
It's not
and
cheap.
It definitely. I think a lot of it too. We were racing so much that I think after that 12-year stretch of running the Corvette Challenge, where we're racing 12 races a year plus Corvette Nationals, NMCA, which is 3 or 4 races. We didn't go to all of them, but it just then Snap-on Night of Thrills, let's say, or all those. If you were winning in a race series, you go in between. I say they're going from jet cars to monster trucks or whatever it may be. Yeah. In between, just so there's always something to look at. The top racers would race down the track. So then there was those nights, and there's 3 or 4 of those a year. So it was getting to the point where, and then I'm test and tuning all the time. We're at the racetrack 2-3 days a week, and I think we just need.
When the hell are you going to be here working on cars?
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. We just that's at night and stuff. So it would just extend the workday. But and we enjoyed it, but it got to the point where I think we just needed a little bit of a break. So a couple of years went by. Chris and I both have young kids. They're starting to get on their own now. Doing their own thing. So I have my nights where they're at Girl Scouts and I can go work on the race car.
Yep.
So It was just a time, time to get back into it. And when we put out there that we're going to start the new race series, it was met with a lot of people. Oh, I'm so glad. I've been missing racing.